Welcome along, everybody, to Sports Bits. Glad to have you join us for what is a fresh episode of the show. And we've got fresh stories from across the world of sports. And of course, we always touch base with what's happening here in Nigeria, as well as what's happening across the world. Lots of trophies being won across European football. 5 major leagues all coming to a wrap-up. And of course, we've got the Italian Serie A since done and dusted. Victor Osimhen winning that title way back. We'll also touch base with what's happening in the NPFL. We've got the Super Six confirmed for you. What teams are going to make it to the last couple of games to decide who will win the championship in Nigeria. So many stories today on Sports Bits. So we're going to take a first break. When we come back, we'll meet Nii Falana, who's in the house, to make all the talking points a little more interesting. Welcome back to Sports Bits. Glad to have you join us. My name is Yubi, and so I'm joined by Falana Adeni as always. Falana, it's good to welcome you back to the studio for a fresh episode of the show. And this is the point where the medals are being handed out. So every show is a bit more expensive nowadays. And if you're just joining us for the first time, you're welcome along to Sports Bits. Good to have you here. Have you enjoyed seeing the shiny medals come out? First off, Premier League. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, we did see Victor lift the title in Italy, first to be won in grand style, must be said. But good to see you on a fresh episode.
It's a pleasure to come on the show.
Yeah, great stuff there. Let's start off with stories close to home. As they say, popularly, charity does indeed begin at home. Under 20 Golden Eaglets of Nigeria out there in Argentina took on their first game at the tournament's debutants, Dominican Republic, 2-1. Not the most impressive performance by any stretch, but the most important thing is always getting the job done, isn't
Definitely, and of course, they had Dominican Republic the first game. It's very key when you win your first game, in the competition. It gives you that breathing space, to not that you want to lose the second and the third game, but at the same time, it gives you that morale going into the next game. At the back of your mind, you have 3 points already, so that should give you a bit of breathing space to play with more flexibility in your next game. And we are facing Italy and Brazil in our next 2 games, so I'm expecting to pick at least a point against Brazil and 3 points against Italy.
Our next game is against Italy, and Italy and Brazil played a 5-goal thriller. Italy winning, and they played in grand style, I must say, racing to a nice lead there. But look, in the end, you've got to play game by game, and you're not going to judge one game on the strength of the other game. So you're not going to say, because Italy, dispatched Brazil, who are, one of the record winners in this tournament. They've got the second most titles at the under 20 level. Is there a chance Nigeria can do a job there or get a draw? What's your prediction for a game like that?
I think off the back of what Italy played against Brazil, I think if Nigeria they get a draw in that game, they'll definitely be proud of themselves. But I feel they need to get the job done. Against Italy, win against Italy, and that gives you 6 points. Then, even if you can manage to get a draw against Brazil, because right now the Brazilians will know that, of course, the Dominican Republic are expected to be the whipping boys of the group.
Yeah.
And
so you can expect Brazil to take the points as well.
The only downside in their victory against the Dominican Republic is they didn't score enough goals, because now that Brazil have lost against Italy, you would expect that Brazil will probably give Dominican Republic a 3 to 4 nil, 4-goal difference. And the last game against Nigeria is also going to be key for Brazil. So I feel Nigeria need to do the job against Italy in the second game, and not just do the job alone, do it in a very, very grand style by scoring at least 2 to 3 goals. That will give them the chance to qualify from the group, because every team might end up 6 points at the end of the day. Yeah. The top 3 teams might end up 6 points at the end. So it's not going to depend on the number of goals you score. But a good start for Nigeria, and let's just hope they can build on that. Right.
Talk to me about Senegal, who lost their first game to Japan, a 0-0. What about what's happening with the likes of Tunisia, who haven't still confirmed their results yet? But look, talk to me about Senegal. Under 17 tournaments here in Africa, they now hold 4 CAF tournaments. They hold the beach soccer championship in Africa. They hold the AFCON. They hold the CHAN, and as well they hold the under 20 and the under 17. So that's 5 major tournaments in Africa. Look, does that bother you, that level of dominance, or is that something that makes you happy that, finally a footballing nation, in Africa, not that it hasn't been done before, but it's never been done before, in holding all five, but they're currently building something very strong, and, you look at Morocco, they are the two leading forces on the continent. Did you like that?
Yeah, it shows, if there's one thing that is telling us that the FA there, or the federation in Senegal, they know what they're doing. I mean, they're doing a good job, and you can see it's not just the senior team alone that is progressing. 8th grade football, they're also progressing. And back then, we used to have Nigerians, maybe not at the senior stage, but 8th grade, under 17, under 20, under 23, they're always the dominating team back then.
Yeah.
But right now, I think that has shifted. It moved to North Africa. Now it's back to West Africa with Senegal. And if there's one thing, it tells you that they know what they're doing. That's just a simple thing. They know what they're doing over there in Senegal. I'm looking at the stage where maybe the female team will also do the same thing as the male are doing right now. And that would be a clean sweep for them.
It'd be nice to see that. Well, of course, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, we are currently, of course, streaming to some of our friends on Facebook as well. It'd be nice to leave a comment and be a part of the conversation here on Sports Pizza. Let's pick up the pace then, Nee, shall we? Let's get on to a story in Nigeria proper, happening at the Onikan Stadium, June the 3rd, Super Six of the NPFL to crown the 2023 champions. We've got 6 teams now confirmed for you as far as who's going to play in that championship. It's been a while. We knew that Bendel would be there as part of the party. Remo Stars, 3 wins on the bounce to confirm their place. What a remarkable end to the Bridge League season. What about Eyimba, who sneaked into that top 3 positions, and with a 0-0 draw away from home in Ibadan was the result they needed to confirm over Akwa United, who
Akwa United were always good to win.
And Akwa United won away from home. A
little bit late
in Gombe, so a little bit too late, and that must hurt. But also in Group B, you look at likes of Rivers United, who came back to play all their games, and I think they didn't lose any game of their standings. Lobby Stars, who for a while we knew they'd finish in that position, but it must be really sad for Doma United, who didn't win in 3 games, 2 losses back to back. Sunshine Stars, I think you mentioned it to me a couple of weeks ago that Sunshine might just creep into that top spot. So 6 teams confirmed: Rivers, Lobby, Sunshine, Eyimba, Remo, and Bendel Insurance.
I think just like you said, we already knew Bendel Insurance were going to make it now at the end of the day. You can't go unbeaten in NPFL and not qualify for the Super Six, And the Doma United, contrasting, a picture for Remo in Group A and Doma in Group B. I mean, Remo picking 3 wins in a row. Especially the away game they won against Plateau United, But Doma United couldn't get the job done. It was a final between them and Rivers United. And Rivers United playing at home, they won that game 2-0. From there, I knew Sunshine Stars were definitely going to secure the top position in Group B, and it's a sad one. I mean, we thought we were going to see another promoted team make it to the playoff, just like Bendel Insurance did. And Doma United, they are the Arsenal of the NPFL because they were
in the top 3 for all season.
For all season, and just like the last 2 games of the season, they couldn't just find that bit of extra motivation to make it to the next round. Boy, it's a cruel one for them. Welcome to the NPFL. That's what you get.
June the 3rd is the date for the Super Six to commence here at the Mobology Johnson Arena in Onikan. Pretty much your venue for what happened for the preseason as well. So be good to see all the fans there to watch those games and crown the champions of the NPFL 2023 season. Right then, Nee, give me a prediction who's going to win that Super Six just before we leave and take a first break.
Between Eyimba and Rivers United for me. I think it's between Eyimba. I think experience is definitely will count. Now.
Eyimba have won the NPFL in the past 2 at Bridge League format, so you might say they have a bit of know-how and experience there.
Well, of course, I think Bendel will lose.
If you're asking, we're speaking about champions and who would be crowned champions. Who's been relegated? Well, in Group A, Nasarawa United and El Kanemi Warriors drop into the Nigerian, National League, and of course, Wiki Tourists and Dakada FC also join them as well in Group B. Right then, take a first break on the show. When we come back, we'll touch base, switch gears pretty much to what's happening across European football. And like Nee said, Arsenal, not so good. Welcome back to Sports Pizza. It is a pleasure to always have you join us. If you just missed the first part of the show, you might want to press rewind, especially to catch your biggest Nigerian stories on the 20 Golden Eaglets out there in Argentina. We touch base with the NPFL 2023 season, and of course, we also touch base with Senegal, who managed to hold all 5 CAF tournaments in the grasp of their hands. They're sort of like Thanos, with the 5 stones, so to speak. Right. Look, we've got to announce a champion when they are crowned, and in many ways, this was a coronation match as opposed to being, fighting for it, because Arsenal's loss to Nottingham Forest a day before meant that City were champions while on the sofa. And if you're watching and you're a City fan, you've got to be very proud. 3 titles, on the bounce. It's not been done since Alex Ferguson was in the Premier League. I've got to ask you then, is this the best City side you've seen? People talk about the Liverpool, the 100 points, 101 points City, but with Haaland, have they just hit another game? They haven't lost in 26 games. Yeah,
they've not lost in 26 games, and that's I mean, when you look, it
must be heavy on your shoulders as an Arsenal fan.
I mean, when you look at Arsenal, you look at Napoli, you look at Barcelona, and you see what Napoli and Barcelona did in their respective league, and you feel that, I mean, they've not done better than Arsenal this season. The only difference is that Barcelona don't have a City, chasing them in Spain. Napoli also don't have a City chasing them in Italy, and that should tell you one thing about the City team, that this is a team that's the best in the world. And they confirmed it in the UEFA Champions League game. How do you beat Real Madrid 4-0, in the semi-final? And it will take something spectacular to dislodge this particular City team,
right?
My money is on them to
win the Champions League
title
next season. Right.
It's like they're not going to drop. I don't know how Pep does it, to keep motivating the players. I don't know.
I tell you how he does it.
I don't know.
Go ahead and sign the best striker in the world. Add him to your team. Get 40 goals. Because I always say, man, and I've got to give credit where credit is due. City are deserved champions. When you haven't lost in 26 games, it tells you that your focus is there. You can have quality players across the pitch, and that helps to a great degree. But if quality players are not switched on, I think the biggest credit you can give Pep is that he knows how to keep top quality players switched on, which is the hardest task in football. But if you took out Haaland's, 36 or 37 odd goals, then you're going to ask questions of that City team. I think if there's no Haaland, they don't win that title. Do you have a different opinion?
I have a different opinion to that. I mean, this particular guy won the league with Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling. Of course, we can see what Raheem Sterling.
So you're saying if they don't have Haaland, they find the goals elsewhere?
They will still find a way to score. Maybe to share the goals across the front line. Foden will probably get 15 goals. Sterling will get 14. Gabriel Jesus will get like 10. I think what Pep has been able to do is make sure that all our player cannot just lose form at the same time.
Right.
Complacency can't set in for you that you're going to start. No, that's not the case with Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't play well in the next game, you can be rest assured that your place in the team in the next game is definitely not as
with a player that is as good as you or even better.
Exactly.
Right.
So everyone knows that they have to play with their A game, and that can only be done when you have luxury of players in your team. And just like you said, he has been able to keep everyone on their toes.
Switched on.
Needs to be studied.
I mean, the Real Madrid game, I saw Foden come in and give a pass. I was like, Foden still plays for City?
Exactly.
Right. So, Arsenal, of course, losing back-to-back games. Look, it's what it is eventually. You see Arsenal fans, turn motivational speakers nowadays. Be like, we'll come back for next season. 81 points as things currently stand for Arsenal, and that loss to Forest now means that the last game is pretty much a must-win to just finish season on high.
Aaron said something when City was second. Said it's going to get to a stage that City will probably feel that, okay, these people we're chasing, we can't catch up with them again. So the morale, the level of commitment will definitely drop from the players. He thought that was going to happen to City,
right?
But now it's Arsenal. That is that.
It's almost like if you chase a G wagon before, in a Corolla, where you chase the G-Wagon, it goes out of sight, and you're like, where did this guy go to, right?
Exactly.
I'm not sure if you're a Formula 1 fan, you should understand what I'm saying, right?
Definitely.
And Formula 1 fans, I'm sure, understand a thing or two about that, right? Mercedes chasing, Max Verstappen at Red Bull. So you see what we did there, a bit of link up, even when we're not reporting Formula 1, right? So Arsenal in second place, Newcastle continuing what is a remarkable vein of form. I thought they were brilliant at the midweek against Brighton. Was it Brighton now? They beat.
That was Brighton.
Yeah, it was Brighton. And this is how to win a title or achieve a target. You beat anybody in sight mercilessly, and I think that's what Newcastle are doing.
Definitely.
What about Manchester United, who are fourth on the table? They've got just 1 point to qualify Champions League, so they need 1 out of 6 points in their last 2 games against Chelsea and Fulham. So hopefully,
I should ask you, which group would you prefer?
Where?
The Champions League.
Champions League.
Maybe a Group C or a Group D.
Bring on Real Madrid.
Be careful what you win from.
bring on Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. That's what I want. That's what I want. But first things first, get the Glazers out. No. Right then, let's get away from the Premier League. As far as relegation battle goes, Southampton were since relegated. Leicester still hanging on by a thread. It's going to be decided on the final day, as well as Leeds United. So Everton is still in the mix as well. Forest almost there. Forest are safe, yeah? Yeah, thanks to Arsenal. So shake on that as far as Forest and Arsenal go. Right then, let's get away from all of that now. Let's touch base with what's happening in Germany. Because, look, it's not often we speak about Germany, but when we do, it means there is a big story to come.
Definitely.
Dortmund currently 2 points ahead of Bayern Munich going to the final game of the season. The final game sees Bayern Munich play FC Köln and Borussia Dortmund play Augsburg at home. Sebastian Haller scoring 2 goals. He's come back at the right time, to galvanize the team. Look, is there a chance they can lose this thing on the final day?
This is football. We've seen stranger things in football. But Bayern have found a way to bottle the league twice. But Dortmund has always found a way to return the bottle back to them.
Like this, but we don't need this. We don't need this thing. You have it.
But I think now they know that they are 1 win away from winning their first title since 2012. I think Klopp was the last manager that won the title for them, and I don't know what's going to happen to Thomas Tuchel, what will happen to Oliver Kahn, what will happen to a host of other,
Salihamidzic.
Yeah, all those Bayern hierarchy. I don't know what's going to happen to them, because at this point they'll probably be feeling that. But then again, pride will not allow them to admit that they goofed, in sacking Nagelsmann. But I think Dortmund are good for the money.
Yeah.
Doyle Malen is firing at the right time. Julian Brandt is also, adding his own goals. Sebastian Haller. What a story! What a remarkable story for the Ivorian. Battling cancer, coming back to win the title with Dortmund.
Nobody has scored more goals than him than Doyle Malen, and it's incredible.
And of course, Doyle Malen, the Dutch guy, and it's going to be an incredible story if Haller can get the title.
And he's African as well.
So I think
that's really nice.
I think all of this, if you add all of this together, I think Dortmund are good value for the money. To win the Bundesliga title. Makes
for a really nice story. That is what football is all about. Someone said, this is what football is all about. It's an emotional sport.
Definitely.
And it will be an emotional final day in the German Bundesliga. Let us know your thoughts on Facebook as well if you're just joining us. How about you? Let us know who you would rather win the league in Germany. What about what's happening in France then? Because Kylian Mbappe, put PSG on the verge of a record 11th league title. They've won 8 out of the last 10 available. 6 points clear of Lens, and you've got to say it was always a matter of when, not if.
Definitely. And the last game is also away from home, I think against Strasbourg. I think they've won the title. They've won the title. There's nothing that, I mean, if you look at Paris Saint-Germain, they are above every other team, you know, in the league.
Fair to say, local champions. Yeah.
But it is what it is. I think what they need to do, they need to study Man City, how they've been able to go about their job, so that they can also be a force when it comes to European football. I
hear there's a story they're looking at getting Jose Mourinho from Roma to join them, and that would be quite the acquisition. Because, you know, Kylian Mbappe has said, I'll be there for next season, so he's got a contract. But you never know in football, anything can happen. Right then, Ligue 1, done and dusted. One more game and it's pretty much settled. Right then, let's get away from Ligue 1 there. I'm just going to ask you, right, look, which has been the toughest league this season across, you know, we saw Barcelona pretty much, you know, team ran their way through the title.
I
Napoli.
think that'll still be the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, then followed by the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And followed by the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Yeah. Okay. I like that pretty much. Right then, let us know your thoughts as well. Look, we've got to talk about Vinicius Jr. in Spain, and when you see one of the best players in the world not getting the adequate attention as far as racism goes, that worries you a little bit. And he's been in a back and forth with the president of La Liga, Javier Tebas, on Twitter, saying, look, your league is losing value and, you know, it's a racist league, so to speak. The problem I have with that is, you know, in the end, you could read all the stuff you read in the papers. The problem I have is that I don't think that the players on the pitch support their teammates well enough, you know. And when you watch the clips back, you know, somebody grabs Vinicius Jr., you know, by the neck, and I just, you know, I think back and think, you know, what would Ramos and Pepe do if they were in the team? I look at Benzema and co. They just stroll around, you know. I don't feel like they have adequate support, and even on social media, you only see Vinicius taking the fight to La Liga. I mean, this should be everybody, you know, doing this. It just sense that, you know, it's almost as if he's been hung out to dry a little bit.
Yeah, everyone, I think footballers these days are soft, you know, soft players. Everyone just going about their business. Now, if it doesn't affect me, I mean, I don't need to, you know, comment. I don't need to say anything. I think everybody is careful of what they say, what they type, and it's a strange one. Definitely a strange one. And Vinicius Junior is just voicing what we already know.
Yeah.
La Liga is definitely, it has lost the value. You know, it's no longer the La Liga that we saw, you know, back then. And until authorities come out to really take a big stance, you know, on racism.
Right.
We won't see the end of it. Enough of the slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Maybe when they start deducting points, you know, from clubs, then clubs can now start telling their fans that, hey, don't do this, or else we're going to be losing valuable points. And they also fine those clubs, you know. Until that you know, begins to happen, I think we won't see the end of racism in football.
Well, of course, that happened in a 1-0 game. Valencia actually won against Real Madrid at the Mestalla. We've got to tell you that Champions League finals will be between Inter Milan and Manchester City, as well as the Europa League final. You'll see the Kings of Europa League Sevilla up against Jose Mourinho's Roma. Jose Mourinho in 2 finals back-to-back with AS Roma in his first 2 seasons. And you've got to put this in context. Before Mourinho joined Roma, they hadn't been to a European final in 31 years. Now they've gone to back-to-back finals. Mourinho continuing the special ones magic. Lee, I want to thank you very much indeed for always making it to the show. But we're going to leave you with a video of the week. And this was an interesting play. Sure you like it. I tell you what, I always love the dash, the 30 minutes dash here on Sportsbits, and it's never easy to go through all the stories, but trust you like it and trust you've enjoyed every bit of it as we continue to hand out the medals across the table on Sportsbits here. From all of us here in the studio, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.